to Policing TV. I'm delighted to be joined here today by Detective Inspector Vinny Waggiani, who is the um, lead event organizer for Light the Lakes. So, Vinny, tell us about Light the Lakes, if you would.
Uh, Certainly. So, like the Lakes first started back in 2012, where when I was working for Surrey Police, one of our detectives were killed, and as a result, a good friend of mine's called Ian Davis um, pulled together officers from the county and organised the first Like the Lakes walk, where a select part of other officers he knew from around the country joined in, primarily to raise awareness of police officers being killed, but also to support the two children that had been orphaned as a result of it. And what that then led to was, following that first successful event, was people constantly asking, well, when is the next one? And as a result, I couldn't make the first one, but when he came back, we began to start exploring what the next one looked like for 2013. And as a result of building the 2013 event, where we had to try and increase our participation. So the first one had a significant participation from Surrey Police, which led to the group going up to the Lake District of about 500 people. The following year, I guess the uptake was less because the connection to the police officer that had died wasn't there. Nonetheless, we persevered and carried on with the 2013 event, and it continued where people wanted to make this an event that stayed in the calendar for policing. So we carried on, and I guess we felt we couldn't keep choosing a family to identify and then raise money for an individual that had been lost through policing. And that's where Ian had identified COPS, the Care of Police Survivors, as a charity that does a lot of work in supporting families that have lost loved ones through policing. And there we chose the charity of choice, where all the work we do through the event, the money that's raised and the awareness that's raised goes towards highlighting COPS, the charity, and contributing the money so that they can do the work that they do very successfully to all the people around the country. So my friend Ian retired around 2014, 2015, and in order for the event to continue, someone needed to sort of take the baton and continue with it. And that's where I sort of took on the responsibility, I guess, where in my head, I always wanted to have all 214 Wainwright Peaks covered. To this date, we haven't, but we've come
So
ever so close.
I'll just mention here for those unfamiliar with the Wainwright Peaks, these are peaks over a certain height within the Lake District. I can't recall how many there are, 214, I think you said. But
Yes,
they're those peaks over a certain height in the Lake District. So please carry on.
absolutely. So the ambition has always been to cover where groups will climb each and one of those peaks, and then at 3 o'clock in the morning, what generally happens is those groups will get to the top of each mountain, and then they will light a blue flare to remember officers and staff now that have died. Um, and once they've done that element, some will camp out in the Lake District. Some will come back down, but the following day, everyone had the opportunity to get together at the venue to share their stories, have some food, have some drink, and where we do presentations along with it. But since it started, and then when we transitioned into supporting COPs. We've now, I would say, raised in excess of £170,000, and over the years probably reached our maximum participant was probably about 2,500 people taking part, where we've had some real good milestones where we've had parents and their children take part in the event for the first time in 2018. 2019 was where we came the closest, I guess, pre-COVID, where we had 208 Wainwright Peaks covered at the event, and so close to getting the 214, just missed it. And then we had COVID, which really, I guess, created a barrier for us to meet up and try and get to that 214. Though post-COVID, I guess there was an eagerness for people to get back. And we were very close in that we had the 214 people registered to cover 214 peaks. And then very close to the event day, we had a few who, through injuries and medical concerns, had to pull out, and we then dipped down to 206. But what that year did provide us post-COVID was that all 43 England and Wales police forces were able to take part in the event, and that included, in addition, Police Scotland, PSNI, BTP,
Police service in Northern Ireland, and British Transport Police.
And that's correct, yeah. So Police Service Northern Ireland and British Transport Police, and a selection of the military police took part. So we had a good selection of the policing family that were able to take part, which was the first time we were able to get all of the forces together. One of my ambitions was to also try and make it accessible to everyone. And you see quite a lot of events that take place, whether they're a cycling event, a running event, and it very much limits itself to abilities. And one of the things we did in 2021 was to collaborate with a charity called Freedom Wizard, which we were then able to take wheelchair users up a certain selection of Wainwright Peaks, which then made the event accessible to more people, where we had, I think it was about 2 wheelchair users that year that were able to be part of the event. But over the years, we've sort of grown as a community. It's become an established event within the walking calendar. So it's not now only policing family that take part. We have the younger generation now emerging and taking part through scout groups, girl guide groups, and even cadet groups that join us now on a year-to-year basis. We've also got the members of the public, the general members of the public, that now are interested in taking part, and it very much brings communities together, but for a sole purpose of remembering police officers and police staff that have died throughout that year. And every year we will do a roll call of all of those officers and staff that have died throughout that year.
So you're keen that more people, more officers, staff, those involved in policing families you've mentioned, take an interest and come along, if possible, to this year's or future years, like the lakes in the Lake District. How can they find out? How can those watching this find out more about how to register, how to get in touch?
So this year we've really focused on trying to have information and communication available and accessible to quite a few platforms. So we've got our own website, which is lightthelakes.org, which has all of the booking information, a frequently asked questions section, how to book, and how to get involved. And if they do have any additional questions, there's a contact sheet that they can fill in, and we will get a response via email, and which will respond as soon as we can. We've also got a Facebook page called Like the Lakes, which people can join and like, which we are frequently updating around what's available, what support's available. If there's individuals that can't get a group and want to take part in the event, what we do is reach out to the participant community to see if there's anyone that would like and could offer someone to join them and tag along with them to go to the event. We've got an Instagram account as well as a X account now. I was going to say Twitter, but it's an X account. Where we will share all the information for people to get involved. This year's event takes place on the 21st and 22nd of June. Generally, people will arrive from 10 o'clock onwards on the Friday, where welcome packs and flares, which are included in the welcome packs with safety information, are distributed, and they're available to collect from 10 o'clock in the morning all the way through to 10 o'clock in the evening. It gives people the opportunity to have conversations with us and other participants around the event, where they're going to be climbing, and have an opportunity to then get their bearings, to a trial walk if they wanted to before they go and embark on one that's slightly less lit. And some groups will set off early and camp out on their peak, and then when it's ready to get close towards 3 o'clock, finish off their final sort of climb, and then wait until 3 o'clock before all the flares have lit. One of the unique things that we've also got, and we've had for the past 2 years, is over a couple of peaks, the Wainwright Peaks, we've got some brass bands making and scaling their way up to the peaks, where certainly in one there's a set of caves called the Rydal Caves, and they'll be playing a set in the caves for a short period of time, and then make their way up to the top of the peak, where certainly the year I went, they played the last call just before 3 o'clock in the morning, before everyone lit, and it was a feeling that I've never felt in previous ones, and each year has had its own feeling that is unexplainable unless you're there and you see the lights and you see the sort of tranquility. But when you add that with a brass band, the goosebumps certainly tend to sort of surface.
You're also looking to raise money for care of police survivors, or cops. You have a number of corporate sponsors. You welcome also individual donation, and people can make individual donations via the website, I believe. What about the corporate sponsors? You have sponsors that include SSCL, Police Mutual, the Credit Union, Copper Pot, and others. Presumably, you're always keen that others that might be interested in supporting Light the Lakes on a corporate basis also get in touch.
Very much so. I mean, any help we can get. I mean, we try and work on a cost neutral basis where we can. So we'll beg and borrow all areas, primarily so that we maximise any money that's identified, raised, goes to the charity as much as possible, so that money is actually being used for a purpose to support families and friends that have lost loved ones through policing. But we're always on the lookout, because we're always trying to think of new things to include in the event, just to keep it relevant, and so that people want to come back to see something different that takes place. So we do have things in plan for 2025 already, which will be due to be released when we meet all the participants at this year's events, but it does take a different turn to what we've usually done. So there is a bit of a surprise. But what that will need is, like you mentioned, an opportunity to attract more supporters and sponsors that will allow us to create something different and special for 2025.
Sounds absolutely fascinating, and a great charitable cause there, Vinny. I'm very much hoping that Policing TV will be able to share something of the moving nature of the event and the climb itself, the bands and the descent. Look forward to Policing TV covering more of what Light the Lakes does. But for the time being, Detective Inspector Vinny Waggiani, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thanks a lot.